Welcome on in, Ashwings. It is a pleasure to see you all here today for another Project Blue video. That's right, I am still hyped about this format, and I want to continue trying to provide a little bit more in regards to some more gameplay, as well as just overall deck building, and kind of talk a little bit about how I feel the format is going. So, with the current format being, of course, very non-D-React heavy, I even wanted to give a, commoner hero, Ira, a chance here in Project Blue. Ira notably always doing very well in young hero formats simply because the concept of coming in with a Kodachi for 1 and then attacking with your Kodachi again for 2 is very, very good, especially in a young hero format. Your opponents get to that Kodachi lock quicker, and it always presents above rate lines in a, even if you just keep like a 2-card hand, you have a very, very good line. And so with that being the case, I wanted to go about kind of showing you what Ira is about in Project Blue. Now, notably some changes here that you'll see as we go and look in the deck here. Flick Flack is not a card that you can play in this format. Neither is, of course, Sink Below or Fate Foreseen. So not a whole lot in the world of D-Reacts for this deck. But with what D-Reacts we could put in there, they actually turn out to be pretty okay. You can play this deck fairly aggressive also, which does tend to help. And then outside of that, you pretty much just get to simply block effectively with your 3 blocks, and then even try to present things such as additional card draw if your opponent is able to make that happen. If they can't block that out, Whirling Mist Blossom is a great card to kind of send in at the end and try to do some shenanigans, maybe with a Razor Reflex, or even with something as simple as a Nip at the Heels, which is a really, really good just attack reaction to have on hand. It's also a 0-cost blue that blocks 3, which is what we like in the deck. So kind of going over the list here, Ira, of course, having her hero ability, your second attack each turn gets +1. This is a must ability. It has to happen. It's not a may, so you will always have that second thing pumped up. This can sometimes be a little rough into decks like Riptide, for instance, but you're not dealing with as many crazy Riptide shenanigans, I think, in this format, although it could very well be a fun deck to play, considering you get access to the rare traps as well. But we're adding in the Blade Beckoner Helm simply because blocking is really good. Blossom of Spring to give us an additional point of resources if we need it. Obviously, our Kodachis, this is the bread and butter of the deck, and Zephyr Needle is also banned, so no reason to play any other weapon there. Pouncing Paws and Tearing Shuko, the ninja combo that you like to see here. Of course, ninjas have had this combo since the Tolarian Community College stuff came out. But Pouncing Paws is a really great addition for playing it instead of Snapdragon Scalers. I think in some cases, you'd almost rather play Pouncing Paws over Snapdragon Scalers, just because it has Battle Worn 1 and you get to create an attack that also works with this, right? Tearing Shuko. It effectively allows that tiger to then get +2, and this card also has Battle Worn 1. So you effectively have roughly 4 block in your armor in a young hero format as a ninja. So that's pretty good, I gotta say. Moving into the deck, though, it's pretty much just your staple ninja stuff here. A lot of 0 for 3s and 0 for 4 go-agains. We got Biting Breeze, Bittering Thorns, Cut Through just being a great tech for this. This rare being in this deck is super good. Most people are not going to be blocking your first dagger. They might block the second dagger, but they probably won't be blocking the first dagger since it's just 1 damage. So if you come in with this afterwards and you have this come in for a 0 for 4 with Go Again, it gets a lot more value off of it. Flex Claws, again, can kind of threaten. You're going to want to use Biting Breeze and Flex Claws as a way to attack with it. Hope your opponent doesn't block. If they don't block, then you get a Tiger, and you can attack with the Tiger for 1, getting more value off of that. Normally, the Tigers come in for 0, but because of Ira's ability to give your second attack +1, it'll go ahead and pump that up there. Of course, Flying Kick is a great chain ender. If you can go super, 4 chain links wide and then play this is also really good, but you're going to need the resources for it, so just make sure you do. 100 Wins, the red is a great 0 for 3 go again that has combo, so if you can 100 wins, you get some value off of it. And the blue, it's not as effective. This could very well be a 0 blue block 3, but having this one here, it does still cost 0, so it still turns on Kodachis, and it can theoretically push some additional damage should you have another one in your hand to pair it up with another 100 wins. Another tech here is our Poison Blade. I do like Poison Blade a lot. I believe that it's a fun little niche thing to do because, again, most people do not block the 1 power dagger. And so when you play something like this endgame where you pitch your blue, you attack with a Poison Blade, and then you attack with Kodachi. This is coming in for 3, and then 2 with the next Kodachi's physical power being +1, plus another one on top of it with this ability if it does hit. So it's effectively still coming in for 2, but it could be 3. So now you're looking at 3 damage, and then 2 damage. So it ends up being about 8 damage total across the chain, just including this and your 2 Kodachis. So it's not a bad way to push damage, and it forces your opponent to really want to block those Kodachis, just simply because the closer they get down to 2 life, the harder it is for them to live. Razor Reflex, I think I've always died to a Razor Reflex into matches against Ninja. I never expect this to be in people's deck, but it almost always is included. Sometimes it's only 1 copy, sometimes it's 2. I'm running 2 just because we have so many different things we can interact with here to give things go again. You can combo it with Torrent of Tempo if your opponent blocks. If they comfortably block something like 8, right? Somehow, some way they block 8, you can still use a Razor Reflex on it. Well, you're probably not going to really want to at that point. Forget what I said. But anyway, yeah, you're able to use it with things like Biting Breeze even to get a little bit over. So this way, this can come in for 6, and then you get a Tiger on the back end too. The go again isn't really like a big deal here, but really what you want to use it on, at least Razor Reflex, I think pairs really well with this card, Whirling Mist Blossom. So this is a card most Iras are not playing in Commoner. It is a common card, but most of the time, because of all the defense reactions that you're able to play in that format, Whirling Mist Blossom is kind of hard to get off because it comes in for 2, and if you were to pump it up even more, even having it come in for a 3 damage off of Ira's ability, it's still really easy for your opponent to kind of full block that with all the 4 power or 4 defense reactions that exist in that format. So having not as many here means that I think the opportunity for this card to get more value is going to be pretty good. So we've got Whirling Mist Blossom, and then Springboard Somersault is our like generic D-React here. You're gonna want to park it in the arsenal, but luckily it's also a 0 cost, and it's got a yellow pitch, so we can still Kodachi off of just the Springboard Somersault if it is a way that we can use to close the game. Spinning Wheel Kick, 1 for 4 with Go Again. If you combo it with another one, it gets another +1, so you could theoretically Spinning Wheel Kick for 4, and then you can Spinning Wheel Kick for 6, and then if it hits, put it on the bottom of the owner's deck, and then send a Kodachi with your last floating resource if you really want to. So not a bad hand to keep. And then, of course, most of our blues here are really just 0 costs. I think notably the one I like to talk about here is Put in Context. There's going to be plenty of opportunities in which this card's going to be really good, but it's a 0 cost block 3, but it's a defense reaction, so it can only defend in the defense reaction step, but it only can defend an attack with 3 or less base power. So if you are going against like a Guardian or something of the sort, you might actually want to take this card out, notably, for an unmovable. And then if you're going against somebody else with a lot of powerful on-hits, let's say maybe an Assassin, you might want to play Wax on instead of Put into Context. And if you're going against a Wizard, you might want to take this out and put in an Oasis Respite instead. So it's kind of the card to swap between our sideboard lines here. And then we are running our natural AB3 stuff here. Arcane probably not going to be as effective in this format, simply because you don't have things like Waning Moon, and that's really what a lot of these wizards cared about was Waning Moon. So not that they won't exist, but because Kano is still a hero, and with rares now available to him, it's certainly going to be easier to be able to do the nasty things. But I would say in this regard, unless you're going up against Kano, I think Iyslander, you could probably even just bring AB2, depending on what you want to do. But regardless, however your testing works out is best. And then, of course, I don't know if I mentioned the Snip at the Heels is a great one here too. Perfect attack reaction for your daggers. It's a great attack reaction for things like Biting Breeze or even cut through because it's base. So this is a 3 power. It'll get +1 and then another +1 from Nip at the Heels. Perfect value there. Same goes for Poison Blade. If you're trying to like close out a game effectively and you're just 1 point off from your opponent being able to block, they're going to, knowing that this card is in your hand, if they see you pitch this, they're going to need to respect it late game. Because if they are only at 1 life and you're sending a Kodachi, they have to go, okay, cool. I have to give you 1 for Kodachi. I have to give you another 1 for your other Kodachi. And then if you come in with something that only has 3 power, something like a cut through, they're immediately going to go, okay, I can block 3, but with Nip at the Heels, you have to respect that additional +1. So very well could be something that terrifies the format overall. So we're going to go ahead and get into a Project Blue game here, and I'm going to see whether or not I can see what kind of nasty, disgusting things I can do in this budget format. All right, so our role here is Iyslander. I think we probably go first into Iyslander here. Let's see what we got going on here. We got a PB local here. I think I'm still going to go ahead and go AB3. I am going to take out the put into context and leave these in here too. I think we'll be okay with that. That'll be fine. So first turn's going to be pretty simple, I think. I think we're just going to... Actually, we're probably going to Flex Claws here first. Because I could even Razor here. Absorb an Aether. I will. Well, I guess I'll do this here then. Make sure I use all my resources. So it already had go again. We got a little bit of value there. Then we're going to send our Crouching Tiger for 1. So we get the value off of that Crouching Tiger. Pretty good. They do have, notably, the Absorbent Aether. It's a nice defense reaction, but it does cost 1 for them to play it, so it is kind of a feels bad here. Okay, and then we just send this. They'll block maybe with their other piece of armor? Okay, they'll block with the last card in hand. And we will gladly just go ahead and we will keep this card in Arsenal. Oasis Respite's going to be good in Arsenal. I could send another Kodachi, but they have another piece of armor up, so not really worth the time. They also notably don't have an Arsenal, so they're probably going to send something like a Findall's Fighting Spirit. Okay, a Scar for Scar is pretty good, actually. We could just take the damage here. We have a blue. We kind of want to keep everything in this hand, if I'm going to be honest. Knowing that we got the tempo, I think we're in an okay spot. Okay. Yeah, Spirit's still pretty good here. So they still get to gain a life. They come in for 7. The real question is here is if we go down to 9, what value do we get out of this? Because we could Poison Blade and then just send like the nuts, right? It would be a turn in which they definitely want to use their armor to block. I think maybe in a world we just give... I might actually just give my Oasis Respite here. And then we can keep maybe the Flying Kick and Arsenal. No, you know what? We'll just do this instead. Guess we could have theoretically blocked 6 there. I probably would have been happier with it, but... So yeah, let's go ahead and try to threaten that armor now. Because we want to make sure that our opponent is going to do some stuff here. We did also want to... Technically, it's better that we kept a card in hand. Because our opponent's probably going to play something in response. Okay, so they blocked the card from hand here. Attack with a dagger. Okay, they get full value off that. Now, I could theoretically come in for a Flying Kick. But they don't have... It doesn't seem like they have a blue in there. Okay, so they got the full value off of their armor. They're not going to be using that for the rest of this. And notably, we're at less life. So because we're at less life, we're actually going to get quite a bit of value off this, I'd say. Because we get that. Oh, what a hand this is. Oh my gosh. Woo! We're going to definitely drop one of these Bittering Thorns for an Oasis Respite. Winter's Bite. That's kind of rough. I will pay 1. Okay, Wounded Bull. Wounded Bull's not bad here. They only have it come in for 7. No, well, there's the Ice Eternal. That's very interesting. I think we maybe just do... I think we're actually okay to Oasis Respite here. Okay, so damage source for Oasis Respite is going to be Wounded Bull. I will gain a life. And then I will take that damage down to 10. Still notably less than my opponent. They're going to put something in their arsenal. We're going to see whether or not it's something that we can get across here. I can't flying kick here. I guess I can, right? But I would have to do... this is rough, actually. I think this card's actually bad. I think I maybe need to play something along the lines of like a... I maybe need to play something along the lines of a... what do you call it? Blood Drop Brocade instead. That way I can attack at instant, so I can use it at instant speed, because right now I'd have to break the chain, and this cares about chain links, so unfortunately we'll just have to keep an arsenal for ourselves, which I think is fine. I think if we just keep an arsenal, we'll be... Whoops. Stop. End of turn. That's what I want. Arsenal. Okay. Not a great hand. We've got an Aether Ice Vein coming in. It is fusing. Okay. So we could... 5 damage here. We could probably drop... We have AB3. And then we still have to take a card. So I think it's still best to do this. We AB... Interesting. So what is our hand here, right? Because theoretically we could AB3. Which I think we might. It's not like the best hand, but... AB3. And then I will not pay 2 to discard. I'll just discard... Yeah, I'll discard that. So, still not, I mean, not the best. I think we're going to pop this right now, just because we get value off of it. We'll see if they full block here. They're going to have to give me 2 cards, or they're going to have to give me another... if they have that D-React, the Wizard D-React, they'll probably end up giving that here too. Okay, there's 2 cards, so we like to see that. That's fine, though. I will close the combat chain. Okay, we got an Oasis. It's pretty good for us, actually. 5 arcane damage. Whoop, hold on. Hold one moment. I'm supposed to do this. This, and then this on the Ice Bolt. Just take 1, and they pass. So not a whole lot of the same stuff we're seeing here. I think we probably just do this, pitch. This for 5. And if they don't full, I mean, they're not going to be able to like full block here, but I think it'll be, okay, that's fine. And then this will come in for 7. That's better. Okay. I liked that hand. I feel like it was worth saving all the way until this moment, but now they're at 5, so a Findal's Fighting Spirit will gain you life here. Coat of Frost, I get a Frostbite. I don't know that matters so much to me, but down but not out. This is still only 5 damage. I think we just block. I don't want to give up my blue because I need this for my turn. 5 damage is scary, though, because if I don't have a blue... My opponent's trying to figure out, I guess, maybe why this isn't pumped up by anything. Yeah, so it seems like effectively what happened is they popped this to give me a frostbite, and then proceeded to send in that. Oh, see, now here we go. Now they're going to be able to send in that for 8 overpower. Yeah, 8 overpower is pretty good. We don't. Oh my gosh, I actually don't know that we have a way to win this. Huh. Well, I'll be. Yeah, we don't have any reactions in our hand, so we can only play 1 card. I mean, I think it's fine. They get all that stuff, though, which is so good for them. I think we just comfortably send in... I mean, we can just try and threaten some stuff, right? I will pay into that. Do a Biting Breeze for 3. They don't have a way to do anything at instant speed, so I guess we're not in that big of trouble. It is nice, though. That overpower, I was almost sure we died to that. So we got that one there. Let's have this come in for 4. So they'll just block with a card here, probably take 1 damage. Notably, I think I'm out of Oasis Respite, so I am, which sucks. Because if they have an Aether Ice Vein in their hand, I might be dead. Not sure, though. Okay, we're at parity, so... Crazy here. Still maybe 3. Scar for 5 is wild. I still got to give you... I think I give you 3 here. Like, you're not going to have a react or anything, right? Okay. So let's see if that's a blue they get to keep in there. We will throw this and then this. Arctic Incarceration. Okay, that's fine. We still got to pay another 1. Okay, let's just do... Let's just do this. Notably, they are not going to have anything... I don't think they're going to have anything crazy to send back. I don't know, it's kind of a tight game. This is very, like... what do you call it? Very... physical damage heavy, this deck. But yeah, if that's an Aether Ice Vein, I think we die. But yeah, they do take the additional 1 here, so they're down to 1. Makes sense that they had to block that one. Oh, there's the Razor Reflex, so... Dude, the end of turn pass is very interesting, okay? I think we may win here. I don't know, there's a world that we don't. I don't think there's a world that we don't. I think AB3 probably saves us from anything, because it's got to be a blue. I don't know, and outside of, like, what, Emeritus Scalding, I think, is probably, like, the only blue wizard card that I think could kill us here. Got the Absorbent Aether. That's actually really good, not gonna lie. Let's see if the Razor Reflex gets there. Yeah, because if that's a spell, if this is a blue spell, it comes in for, oh my gosh. It's got to be fused. It did get fused. Oh no, do I die? No, I still win. Yo, that's crazy. Wow. I thought that was more. That's so good. Yeah, I had the AB3. I think it's, oh, you know what it was? Is because the Frostbite came in. They made one Frostbite, and then gosh, that was it. Yeah, so they came in with one Frostbite and then pinged me for 3, and I definitely still had the blue in hand. So that was one of our games into a opponent here in the Project Blue meta. Definitely cutting it close there a little bit. I mean, knowing that Ice Eternal is such a great card in this format, being able to be that blue in your arsenal to be able to send that damage. The Absorb and Aether was huge value. That definitely was a lot. And I think it is really nice to see more people playing Absorb and Aether in the Wizard decks, just because it is a D-React. It does get you to pump things if you're able to play stuff at instant speed, so you can D-React from your arsenal, pitch a blue, and then even on Kano, you can do things like pitch another and then play these and so on and so forth. So very, very fun times. But if you guys enjoyed this episode today of more Project Blue fun, please make sure to go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel as well. We are almost at 2,500 subscribers, so thank you all so much for continuing to enjoy the content I bring out to you all, and I hope to continue to bring much, much more to you in the future. So thank you so much, and continue having fun in the flesh and blood. And I will see all of you beautiful Ashwings in our next video.